Oh,
um, so drinking was my first thing. I drank in 8th grade. It was my first time drinking at a birthday party because everyone else was doing it, and I wanted to fit in and be cool. And so that was my first thing. And then I started smoking weed, and then from there, I didn't do Percocet. I didn't get into pills before anything. I went straight from weed to heroin, and I smoked heroin twice before I started shooting it up. It was that quick for me. And there wasn't even a real thought process through the whole thing. It was just, I knew someone was doing something, but I didn't know what he was doing. I just knew he had something that he was always doing, and he was always having fun and feeling great. So I asked him, I told him I wanted to try something different. I had smoked weed with this guy, and I told him I wanted to try something different. And so he told me we were going to get a Perk 30. And then we meet up with this guy and whatever, and he opened it up, and it wasn't a Perk 30. It wasn't a pill. He actually got heroin, and that was my introduction to it. And it was at the point where I didn't really care what it was. I just wanted to try something different, and it was over from that point. After I had tried it the first time, I flew, and I felt amazing, and that only lasted for a while, and then it started getting really, really bad. I was homeless. I overdosed. I tried to kill myself, and I overdosed, and the cops had to come and give me Narcan, and they had to shock me because my heart stopped. And my ex-boyfriend found me. He came home from work early. It was the weirdest thing, and he found me, and waking up to the paramedics and your ex-boyfriend's dad with no shirt on, like, really weird. And that wasn't even enough to stop me. I was still homeless after that. I got out of the hospital and avoided my mom. She was looking for me everywhere, and I stopped using heroin for a while because all my friends were doing Percocet, because I kind of got into the heroin scene when it was like a faux pas. Like, you were the bad person if you were doing heroin. Everyone was doing pills, so I was like the worst kind of addict. And so I started doing pills with a bunch of people, and then I got back into heroin because it was cheaper and everyone else was doing it, so it wasn't so much of a faux pas anymore. You weren't looked down on because everyone else was doing it too. And I went to treatment back in 2012 or 2013. I went to inpatient, went to, like I said, my home for 30 days, and met a guy, and we were clean for quite a bit of time. I had almost 2 years or something like that before we relapsed, and I was homeless for about a year, living in a car or hotel rooms, and then his dad got us an apartment and totally took advantage of that. It was disgusting. That apartment was disgusting, because all we would do is wake up, get high, fall back asleep, try to get more money, get high, fall back asleep. We didn't do anything, and I was living in an abusive relationship, mentally, physically. We would get in arguments, and he would tell me to kill myself, and it gets to the point where you get broken down so much that you hope you don't wake up in the morning. I was mad that I would wake up in the morning, hoping I did enough that I wouldn't. Or, driving on the freeway, thinking if you drove off the side of the West Seattle Bridge, would you survive or would you die? And it's, when you get to that point, you're hopeless. You feel hopeless. You don't feel like you can get clean. You don't feel like you're worth it. You don't feel like anyone cares. And that's at the point I was at, and I hadn't had any money for a couple days, and I'd been wanting to call my mom. I was so sick of the situation I was in, but I was stuck. I didn't know what to do, how to get out of it. And my mom had came to a meeting here and had a consultation, and she came to my apartment, sat outside of my apartment for like 3 hours waiting for me to come out. She was not going to let me escape without coming with her, and I was so happy that it happened. She, as soon as I went outside, she gave me a hug, and we went to Northwest Resources, and I met Art, and the next day I was here. And that action saved my life. This program saved my life. And I can't be more thankful for these meetings, because I've been able to grow with my mom, And I've been able to grow as a person and be stronger in my recovery now than I ever was when I had clean time before. And, you know, I believe that I'm worth it now. And I believe that I'm a good person and I have something to offer people. And that's the biggest thing for me, knowing that I'm not a piece of shit. I'm not just a junkie. You know, I'm a good person. And that's where this program has gotten me today. So, thank you.